Hi, I'm Mark. This is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to bring you guys a review of the Tapo RV50 Pro Omni robot vacuum cleaner and mop. Now, this is a robot vacuum cleaner very much towards the high end of the robot vacuum cleaners you can get. And this is manufactured by Tapo, so it's the same company as TP-Link, who make all sorts of routers and all sorts of smart home tech. And one of the really exciting things about this vacuum is it is Matter compatible. That means it's a fantastic choice for people using Home Assistant, but also things like Apple Home. And I'll get into all of that in this review. I've been using this for about 6 weeks, and this is going to be a really in-depth review, and so I will put chapters below so you can find the section that you're looking for. Now let's kick off and talk about design. Now there are two parts to this robot vacuum cleaner. You have the dock and you have the vacuum. Both come in black and look pretty smart and modern, and I actually prefer the black over white vacuum cleaners. The dock has clean and dirty water tanks at the top which just lift off, and then a removable panel which is where you change the bags. Right at the bottom you've got a ramp and then storage for the mop pads when they're not attached to the vacuum. These attach and detach automatically. Moving on to the vacuum itself, again it is largely black in design with various sensors all around the edge. When the mop pads are attached, one of those can also move out slightly, allowing it to get really close to the edges when it's doing its cleaning. The base of that mop has an anti-tangle brush, and this is actually a cutting brush, which means it cuts the hair after it's finished a cycle as well. This helps keep it nice and clean, and as you can see, it's been used over the last 6 weeks in a house with 2 cats, and it's working out really well. Generally, the design is nice and modern, and actually compared to my old SwitchBot S10, it's actually a smaller device, as you can see. It's also very slightly shorter in terms of height. And this leads us nicely to talk about specification. So firstly, this vacuum is just 350mm wide and deep, and then just over 100mm tall. In real world terms, because of that sensor on top, it still can't quite get under sofas, although the front of the body can, so it does get a little bit under a sofa. Of course, that does depend on the heights of your sofas. What this does do is give the vacuum enough clearance to climb heights up to 20mm. This is great if you've got thresholds around your house. It has a huge 15,000 pascals suction power. You can adjust the suction power in the app and choose which version you want it on for each cycle. It also has some smart features for increasing suction when it detects it might need to. For example, on a carpet. It can detect these, but of course you can also mark them on the map. As I said, it's got a tangle-free cutting brush, which means it actually cuts the hair when it docks. This makes it ideal for households with pets. The mop pads are removed or added automatically by the vacuum, and these use magnets to attach. As I said, one of them can come out from the edge of the vacuum as well to really help it get close to the edges, and as you can see, it can get really close to edges. That docking station also has a lot of features. So it has a slot for detergent, it's got space to clean and dry the mop pads and store them when they're not in use, and it's got 2 large tanks for clean and dirty water, alongside space for a vacuum bag. Now the mop pads get washed with 60 degrees water and then dried at 50 degrees Celsius. Those water tanks have a capacity of 5 litres each. What that really means is if you've got a 100 squared home, they should only need changing every 2.3 cleaning cycles. In practice, with 2 mopping cycles a week, I'm finding I'm having to replace the water roughly every 2.5 weeks. And as you'd expect, the dirty water doesn't fill up quite as quick as the clean water empties because the mopping pads do leave some water around your house as they mop. That dirty water tank also has an anti-odor module, which does seem to work pretty well. The robot itself has a 95ml tank built in, and it will take itself back to the dock to change the water if it needs to during a cycle, and it will also go back to the dock to clean the mop pads during a cycle. It will then just pick up where it left off. Now those mop pads have an 8N max downward pressure and 180 RPM spinning speed. And in using this for the last 6 weeks, I'd say it does a much better job than the roller mop the SwitchBot S10 had, which I was using previously. This vacuum also has the ability to detect carpets. Now those mop pads can lift up for shorter pile carpets, but generally what the vacuum prefers to do is leave the mop pads at home, vacuum the carpet areas without the mop pads on, and then pick up the mop pads and do the rest. It manages this itself and it works really well. There are also tons of features in the app, which I'll get onto later. The vacuum has a 5200 mAh battery inside it for powering it as it cleans. In real world terms, for my downstairs, which has a living, dining room, a kitchen and a bathroom, it can easily mop and vacuum all of that just on one charge. Officially on one charge it will last for up to 250 minutes, and if it needs to recharge in the middle it can do that and then pick up where it left off. And then finally we should talk about connectivity. You obviously get more features when you use it with the Tapo app, but it is Matter compatible. That means it works with third-party services, including Amazon Alexa, Google Home and Samsung SmartThings. Of course, it also means you can get it into Apple Home and Home Assistant. And it exposes a variety of features to Apple Home and Home Assistant, both of which I've been using it with, and I'll get onto those later. And then we should talk about spare parts. And that's because with any robot vacuum, even if you spent a certain amount of money on the initial outlay, you are going to have to think about replacing parts as time goes on. So spare filters will cost you around £30 for a pack of 4. The floor cleaning solution is also £30 for a replacement module. Now, if you want compatible bags, you can find them on Amazon for £10 for 5, which is actually really cheap. The same goes for spare mop pads at £30 for 6. These aren't the official ones, these are compatible third-party ones. I will link them below. Now in the app you can find links to all of the official parts, and one thing I have spotted is that the detergent modules do seem to go out of stock pretty regularly. So when one comes in stock, you're probably going to want to buy that so you've got a spare. All of this, however, does keep maintenance costs pretty low because none of those spare parts are particularly expensive. That means the final thing we should talk about if we're talking about costs is the actual cost of this vacuum. And it does have an RRP of about £750. Now this does make it a pretty expensive robot vacuum, but I am pretty regularly seeing the price at £400, and with the recent Prime Day I even saw it as low as £340, and at that price it's really good value. So let's move on from all of that and talk about setup. So the setup instructions are included on paper within the box, but also on the box flaps. But generally setup is easy. It mostly involves attaching the ramp to the dock, making sure the water tank is filled up, putting in the anti-odor module into the dirty water tank, attaching the detergent block, and of course getting it all plugged in. One thing to note with the clean water tank is if you do fill it up completely, it can be quite heavy. So if you're thinking of this for an elderly relative, just keep that in mind. You don't have to fill it up all the way, you could only fill it halfway if you wanted to. Those clips on the tanks are also pretty secure, which means you can lift it by the handle without having to worry that's going to come undone and spill water everywhere. However, I do personally like to have a hand underneath just in case. The other thing you want to do is remove any packaging from the vacuum as well before adding the vacuum to the dock. Next, it's time to pair it, and you'll start by doing this in the Tapo app. So you're going to want to download that and create an account if you don't have one already. Once you've done that, you'll hit the plus. You'll then find the vacuum and it will talk you through the process of adding it, including pairing it to your home Wi-Fi network. Now, I actually had a few issues getting it paired and I had to do a couple of resets. Once it was paired, however, I could then easily add it to Apple Home and Home Assistant thanks to the Matter support. Now, I had absolutely no issues with that and it's not gone offline once since I started using it like that. Once it's all paired, it's time to get it to map your house. As part of that mapping process, it will also detect any carpets and put those on the map as well. This seems to be pretty good at recognizing things, and it even picked up my pretty flat doormat. You can then choose to send it off on a clean or tweak a huge variety of settings within the Tapo app. So let's talk about performance. So I've been using robot vacuums for a good few years now. And most recently I used the SwitchBot S10 for about a year and a half with its plumbed in water station. And as a whole, I can safely say that the Tapo RV50 does a much better job. And that's especially true when it comes to mopping. So let's talk about mopping and vacuum. So you can send it off to vacuum on a schedule, or you can trigger it manually via your app of choice. So the Tapo app or Home Assistant or Apple Home. If you send it off via a Matter app like Home Assistant or Apple Home, you can choose mop, vacuum, or mop and vac, and then you've got 3 suction choices. These are automatic, deep clean, and quick. These are fine for schedules, but they will always do the whole area. Of course, if you want to do things like set more granular cleaning areas or tweak the settings a little bit more, then you're going to want to use the Tapo app. This also gives you a bit more control over suction power. And before we get into all of that, we should probably talk about my house setup. So this vacuum has been downstairs, and downstairs I've got a couple of thresholds between rooms. There's a ramp going up into the kitchen, and then there's a step going into the bathroom. Pretty much all of my downstairs is either laminate flooring or tiling, and so there's not really any carpet going on beyond doormats. We also have 2 cats, and the biggest mess made regularly is cats kicking litter out of the litter tray. What that means in practice is between fur and litter, this vacuum does have to work pretty hard on a daily basis. And for the last 6 weeks, it's been used every single day for vacuuming and twice a week for mopping. So let's talk about how I've got that set up and talk about how it performs for each. So firstly, I've been running my schedules from Home Assistant. This has been working really well. It also means in one single automation, I've been able to decide based on day of the week whether it vacuums or vacuums and mops. I have also triggered it from Apple Home. Now, one thing to note is that Apple Home does seem to have a little bit of a bug when it comes to vacuums. It's not just with the Tapo one, it happens with my SwitchBot Matter ones as well. And it basically means the vacuums are always refreshing in the app. And yes, you can control them from the Apple Home app, but I find I have to update every single time first, which can take a little bit of time. As this is something with both SwitchBot and the Tapo vacuum, it's just something to note with Matter compatible vacuum cleaners in Apple Home. And I'd love to know if anyone else has found that issue. The weird thing is, however, if you set up the automations in Apple Home, it doesn't actually impact these kicking off. And whichever way you set it off from Matter compatible apps, it does seem to work well and do the correct settings, so whether you want to mop or vacuum or both. One of the really nice features is if it knows there's some carpets around your house, it will go off and vacuum the carpet first, even in mop and vacuum mode. It will then go back and get the mop pads and then vacuum and mop the areas where there aren't carpets. If you want to send it off mopping from the Tapo app, there are a lot more features to choose from. That includes it automatically choosing cleaning preference. You can set it to vacuum and mop, vacuum then mop, vacuum only, mop only, or custom. For vacuuming, you can choose the cleaning times, so once or twice, and the vacuum power range. This goes from low to maximum with 5 different options in between. For mopping, you can also choose the water level and the route options between standard, fast, or thorough. And in using it, I'd say that generally low or mid-level water settings are best because the mops do make the floor a little bit wet. This also helps make the tanks last longer. And what I'm finding is basically every couple of weeks I need to change the tank. You do get a notification when you need to do it, and a light will change from the duct itself as well. And generally speaking, a vacuum only for my downstairs takes about 45 minutes. And if it's mopping as well, it takes about an hour to an hour and a half. It will go back to the dock part way through and make sure the mop pads are cleaned before it goes out and around again. It can easily do the whole of my downstairs, including mopping and vacuuming without needing to recharge. If you want to, you can also split your map into rooms in the app. You can also add things like no-go zones. When it comes to object avoidance, those built-in sensors are pretty good, and I haven't found it managed to accidentally suck up anything it shouldn't have. In fact, it also actively avoids things like cat toys if I leave them on the floor for testing. And as you can see, it basically just waltzed around these when they were left on the floor, and this was really impressive. It's also worth noting that despite it not being very tall, it still can't get under my sofas because of that main LiDAR sensor. The edges can, however, and so they always get vacuumed and mopped slightly under them. The edge cleaning, as you can see, is really impressive, and it gets in really close to the edge of the backboards in my kitchen. I honestly don't think I've ever seen a vacuum cleaner get so close to edges. I've also found it's really good at recognising carpets. I've also found its clearance means it keeps itself out of trouble. It means whilst it can get on the back door mat, which is a bit thicker, it can also get itself off of it, whereas the switch spot one used to get stuck and call for help. As I said, the mop pads do get left at the station when it's focusing on carpet. However, it can also lift those mop pads up slightly if it's a short pile carpet. And generally in using this for about 6 weeks, I found that whether it's mopping or vacuuming, it does a really good job at keeping everything clean. In terms of noise levels, on standard mode, it is surprisingly quiet for a robot vacuum cleaner, but as you'd expect, the more suction power, the louder it is. Even those lower suction levels, however, do still pick up the sort of things you'd expect them to, and it's great for keeping everything nice and clean on a regular basis. But the thing that's really impressed me is the quality of the mopping, how good it is at making sure things are clean. That brush cutting functionality is also really useful for making sure there's no hair trapped around it, and that seems to work well as well. What you're seeing is it after 6 weeks of use without me tampering with it at all. So we should also talk about ongoing maintenance. And the main thing you're really going to need to do regularly is empty and refill those water trays. They're easily done because they simply lift off. The one thing I'd recommend is when emptying the dirty water, just give it a bit of a rinse around as well. That anti-odour does, however, work really well. For other maintenance things in the app, you can go into the vacuum and into settings, and there is a maintenance page. This will tell you how long it is until various things like brushes and filters need replacing. There's also links to all of those spare parts, which is great. Then the other things you might want to keep an eye on is things like the cleaning tray and the charging contacts. Keeping those clean is pretty easy to do, and you can just easily spot wipe them. There are instructions in the app for doing that if you want to. In terms of replacing the bag, I've not had to do it yet, and I guess every so often you just want to check how full it feels. And really how often that needs emptying is going to depend on how much stuff it picks up around your house. If it sticks with what I've experienced with other vacuums previously, and the bag is about the same size, then I'm expecting to change it once every 6 to 12 months. And as a whole, maintenance is pretty easy, and the app will remind you when various things need doing. But on a day-to-day basis, it's pretty good at keeping itself clean, so things like cleaning those mop pads. And what you're seeing in this video is the vacuum after around 6 weeks of usage with no actual cleaning by me. And it's pretty impressive. And this leads us nicely to talk about the app in a bit more detail. So there are lots of things in the Tapo app, but the main home screen is basically where you can see the status of the last clean and adjust the map. This includes seeing where it has marked something like a carpet. If you want to go into the map, you can add virtual walls to split up your room, you can tweak cleaning orders, and you can set no-go zones. If you want to take this vacuum upstairs to vacuum or take it to another part of your house, you can even do that and have a second map set up. You can just switch the map in the app when you want to clean that new area. There's also lots of really nice features in the map. From the main screen in the app, you can also set zones and send it off to vacuum or mop those, or you can just send it off to vacuum and mop your whole house. You can also toggle between the vacuum and mop modes as well. This is all really easy to do, although I do find sometimes when you open the app and click into the vacuum, it does take a little bit of time for the vacuum to connect. I'm not quite sure why this is, because it should be connected to Wi-Fi all of the time. The lines in the top right of the app let you see schedules, reports, and use a remote control to move it around yourself via the app if you want to. The settings also contain loads more things. That includes things around carpet, floor, and dock settings. the maintenance page, and things like Siri shortcuts and smart actions and device sharing. It's also here you'll find the Matter setup code for getting it into Apple Home and Home Assistant. But, as I ask with most of my reviews, are there any downsides? And the main one is just that sometimes I do find it takes a little bit of time when opening the app for the vacuum to connect. The only other thing I found once during my 6 weeks testing is that when it went onto the back doormat, my mop pad did accidentally get disconnected. I had to go and manually reattach it. All I had to do to put it back on was try and attach it to the bottom, press the robot start button, and then attach it again when the magnets are kicked in. And if a vacuum does get into trouble during a clean, you will get a notification. But that's it for downsides. So what's my verdict? Now, I've tried and used a few robot vacuums throughout the years, and this is easily my favourite to date. It has great suction power, mops better than any other vacuum I've used, including being able to get really close to edges, and is just all round a great mop and vacuum. The large tanks on the auto refill station also make it really easy to maintain. And I feel like it's been designed with maintenance in mind because everything is nice and simple. And whilst it's not quite as convenient as the SwitchBot S10 with the S10's plumbed in water station, I do find that this is less messy, and the SwitchBot one did have a few leaks after the year and a half of using it. One thing I will say is I don't think it's worth the £750 RRP, but that's a good thing because it's pretty much always on sale for between £350 and £400, and at that price it's really good value for the quality. If you do want to pick one up, I'll put some links below, and I'll also link all the spares. There are affiliate links and will go to Amazon in whichever country you're in. That means if you use that link and make a purchase, I'll get a very small cut of what you spend at no cost to yourself, and that just helps this channel out. If you've got any questions, stick them below and I'll try and help you out. I'm going to keep using this because it's a fantastic product, and if I can help you guys out, I will. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys again soon.